skip, skip, and skip. I think at this point, you get the point. You're busy, you don't have time, you skip stories, therefore you want someone to give you the details on what the hell is going on, and that is why I am here. Hello there, I am Happy Owl and I welcome you to this new video on Wuthering Waves. On today's program, we are summarizing Wuthering Waves' main storyline, continuing with Chapter 1 Huang Long, Act II Echoing Marche. As promised at the end of Act 1, Qixia treats Yang Yang and us to breakfast with some extra spicy noodles to start, at 7 AM. God damn, my mouth is burning just hearing about it. For some reason, we end up talking about luring Baija out of her lab because she hasn't touched grass in a while and our joyful airhead proposes to tie us up. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be scared or turned on, but apparently many researchers would love to get their hands on us. Baija included. Anyway, Qixia then expertly sums up where we're at with the token Sanhua gave us on behalf of Jinshi. We know what the Sugar Pearl is, an oral vaccine for a disease that struck Jinzhou 20 years ago, which is the date we must use on the first half of the Sundial puzzle box, which contains a scroll, but to obtain said scroll we need a specific cardinal direction to use on the second half of the Sundial puzzle box, which is where the other tokens could come into place. We still have no clue about the leaf or the mangosteen, but Qixia and Yang Yang chime in to try and figure out how to proceed. It is thus with this group of lovely ladies that this second act begins, but not for long. You discuss what the next step of your journey should be, and each of them has their own plan. So you start Act 2 by committing the #1 sin in any horror story. You split up? Wait a minute, I'm getting a sense of déjà vu. I mean, this is exactly how Act 1 began, minus Baija. Huh, if I had a nickel for every time I made a joke about Baija and a déjà vu moment, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice already. Sorry, let's get back on track. Oh wait, but I actually missed the track. What do I mean by that? Well, during my playthrough, I may or may not have chosen these stupid replies for the rover, such as, "My body aches for battle. I do not know who I am. I do not know why I am here. All I know is, I must kill." Yeah, it made me laugh, but all I got for it was a Fast and Furious reference from Qixia, and more importantly, this made me skip a portion of the important dialogue. The lesson here is, be careful with your dialogue choices. Thankfully, the good people of the Wuthering Waves fandom wiki have transcribed the dialogue I missed, and here is a quick summary. We tell the girls about our dream, or rather, the opening sequence of the game. Apparently, during this whole mess, something was pointing us to the Gorges of Spirits, which is where we landed, but it, whatever it is, was also flowing towards the Northfall Barrens, which is all the way up north. What is notable about the Northfall Barrens is that it is the place where the Threnodian War happened, and it is the source of all TD outbreaks, basically the front line of the current war. So we decide to leave the city heading towards that general direction, and we ditch Qixia. Well, not exactly, she just can't get out of the city because of her duties as a patroller, but that means more one-on-one time with Yang Yang for us, which is good, I think. Once we arrive at the city gate, our feathered friend points out that its defenses seem to have been strengthened, which, strangely enough, happened after we got into the city, but never mind that, this is where we meet our new waifu. Her name is Jianxin. She's a monk who grew up in a sect on top of a mountain. She is a jack of all trades, living a humble life trying to do good around her by helping people. That last bit is exactly what she was trying to do by hounding the guards to get out of the city. She promised the grandpa to look for his missing grandson, but the soldiers won't let her through without proper authorization. To be fair to this nameless soldier, despite Jianxin saying that she is a resonator and a trained martial artist, from his point of view, she is just a random girl with a giant strand of hair sticking out of her skull like an antenna, which is cute, but also kind of weird. On top of that, his colleague mentions that the general stationed up north keeps an eye on every soldier, including the one she is looking for. For the first time in this video, I can say it. Keep that very last part of my sentence in your mind, it will be relevant later. The crux of the problem for Jianxin is that she doesn't have an access pass. But guess who has one? Us! We do! Jinshi left one for us so we can go wherever we want, and we decided to take Jianxin with us because we are nice like that. Or you can try and extort her for all she's worth, which is not much, as she only has 34 shell credits on hand. To get back to her missing persons case, Song Ye, a veteran Jianxin met by chance outside of the city, has a grandson, Jiyuan, who is near a Midnight Ranger camp in the Desert Highland, which happens to be on the way to the Northful Barrens, which is our destination. Apparently, the situation on the front line isn't that good, and Gramps here is worried about Jiyuan, so he decided to sneak out of the city to go look for his enlisted grandson. When we arrive near the rearguard's base and ask a soldier about this case, it turns out that Jiyuan is not actually a soldier. He's not even a resonator. The truth is, he's a stalker who's been following the troops since last year. He's apparently determined to join the ranks, but you will soon learn that there is more to that story. The actual soldier we talked to tells us that Jiyuan is probably in the rearguard's camp, as beyond the camp lies the front line and the Midnight Ranger would never allow a civilian to go there. So we head to the camp with a side quest of repairing some detection beacons on the way. Now, I have mentioned the Midnight Rangers and the rearguards quite a few times, so allow me to explain a bit more about that. The military force protecting the region is called Midnight Rangers, and its main troops are divided into 3 groups. The vanguard leads the offense against TDs, while the rearguard protects the city itself in cases of TD outbreaks, on top of other non-combat related missions. The third group is called the Outriders, which Yang Yang is a part of. They operate independently from the rest of the troop and serve as a reconnaissance force. All of these lovely men and women in uniform are under the command of General Jian, but that man deserves a proper introduction, which, lucky you, will happen later on in this video. Speaking of videos, you know the drill. If you enjoy this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it allows me to keep the happy in Happy Owl TV. Once we get to the first beacon, we are greeted by strange people, or rather, somewhat lying people. They tell us that since the situation up north is bad, they wanted to get back to the city, but they don't have food or money, so they resorted to stealing detection beacon parts. Seeing how out of luck they seem to be, Jianxin takes it upon herself to help them by providing some food and money, which should be enough for them to reach the city. But wait a minute, earlier I said that she only had 34 shell credits, so either A. I have no concept of the value of shell credits, B. 34 shell credits is not actually enough to reach the city, C. She lied to us and had more in store, or D. She hit an ATM somehow, somewhere on the way to a deserted place. Well, according to these lovely people, the answer is B, not enough. Or maybe people being people, they just got greedy and attacked us for more. Of course, we absolutely demolished them because such is the difference between resonators and regular-ass people, but I'll come back to that later. The truth is that these people joined the Exiles, which is a collective name for different groups shunned by society and operating as independent bandit camps on the outside of cities such as Jinzhou. Anyway, Yang Yang sends them on their way because why arrest people when they commit crimes, am I right? Well, we repair the first beacon, then repair the second one before finally making our way to the rearguard camp. Once there, we meet Xiulan, a member of the Midnight Rangers, who asks us for help escorting wounded soldiers while she has to go take care of an overclocked resonator. Overclocking, which has nothing to do with your CPU or your GPU in this context, is something that Baija mentioned before, but for the sake of time I skipped it in my last video, so let me tell you a bit more about it now. Overclocking is exactly what it sounds like. It is what happens when a resonator's mental capacity is overwhelmed by the use of their own power, also called forte. Yeah, the cool you can do that I mentioned in previous videos, they are called forte, and when you lose control over it, you can cause an overflow of resonance energy. I don't think I need to tell you that that's bad. Very bad. It is not only a danger to the overclocking resonator, but also to the people around them. Anyway, I'll skip the portion during which we escort the wounded soldiers as not much happens, so we can get to the quartermaster. He reinforces the notion that Jinzhou is a crucial location for the defense of Wanglong. More importantly, well, it's not really more important, but we finally get some answers regarding Jiuan and his whole situation. First off, the quartermaster seemed surprised that Jiuan didn't even send a single letter home. Not even once. What's worse is that he had no shot at joining the Midnight Rangers, as they no longer recruit non-resonators, so this whole endeavor was futile from the start. The thing is, Jiuan really wanted to fight on the front lines and kept coming back to the camp after being sent back to the city time and time again, and eventually the quartermaster caved and took him in to let him help in the camp. To add insult to injury, just as we arrived, he was preparing to send Jiuan back for good, as the situation is getting too dangerous to keep a civilian around. This means that this whole storyline was really pointless. Had Jianxin and Gramps waited a couple more days, Jiuan might have been back. But wait, there is more. To rub salt in the wound, allow me to skip the rest of the conversation with the quartermaster for now, so we can finally put an end to this side storyline with Jiuan. Do not worry, I will come back to the main storyline and this conversation right after. While we keep talking to the quartermaster, Jianxin goes to talk to Jiuan and then comes back to talk to us. He agreed to return home with Jianxin after a bit of convincing. Apparently, our boy Jiuan never even tried to pass the entrance tests to enlist as a Midnight Ranger because he disagreed with the intense training and tests required to join the military. But wait, there is even more. Believe it or not, he saw no difference between ordinary people and resonators. I am having a mental breakdown on this one because sure, there is no difference between regular people and resonators. Aside from the magical powers, I mean, they are not magical, it is frequency manipulation that can only be done since the lament marked several changes in the laws of physics. But my point still stands. You may think that I am a bit harsh with him, and to be frank, I do understand the will to help others and contribute to the war effort, but it's kind of like if I went to fight Voldemort on my own. Our noseless friend would Avada Kedavra my ass into oblivion. So Jianxin decided to provide him with a demonstration of the difference between a regular person and a resonator by fighting him head-on. At the end of the day, he finally realized that fighting TDs may not be as easy as he thought it was. Who would have thought? After that, we say our farewells to Jianxin and we can now get back to our previous conversation with the quartermaster. You might wonder why I'm coming back to that conversation. I mean, this whole quest was about helping Jianxin help Gramps find Jiuan, right? And we're done now, right? Well, not exactly. Allow me to refresh your memory. Our main objective here was to find out more about our dream, the Mangosteen, the Leaf, the Northfall Barrens. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was our objective, but we got sidetracked. Big time. Just like I very often get sidetracked during my live streams at twitch.tv/happyowltv. Wait, is there even a point of me saying that since now I'm also streaming on YouTube at the same time? Oh well. Whichever platform you prefer, know that I am here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time and every Saturday at 4 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Now that I sidetracked you with my shameless streaming plug just like the game sidetracked us with this whole Genshin, Songwei, and Jiu and mess, let's get back to the main topic: grocery shopping. Thus far, the only new piece of information we got about the mangosteen was that, according to Genshin, it looks like a nice fruit. Oh, wow, thanks for that one. Okay, perhaps the quartermaster will shed some light on this clue Jinshi gave us. Well, the only thing he can tell us is that there is only one waterway open from Port Gunchao in the south of the city, so that would be our best bet to find out more about the mangosteen. So we came all the way here, only for him to tell us to go all the way back there. I see. Getting back to our proper timeline, now we have a little brainstorming session with Yang Yang, and the result of us putting all of our brain cells together is, drumroll please, the fruit indicates something about war. Yeah, we learned nothing new. Towards the end of our conversation with Yang Yang, we start hearing a voice again, the voice from our hand. Remember how our hand told us it was hungry and proceeded to eat the crownless during the prologue? Well, it is hungry now, but there is no crownless to snack on, so we get a vision, I guess? Let's take our mental issues one step at a time. First off, we see a giant moon-looking object in the sky, which is reminiscent of the vision we had when Baija studied us. This giant moon seemed to be a recurring theme, as it was also seen during a previous war according to some reports. Then we see the reflection of a feminine figure dressed in red, which is reminiscent of the two people following us at the end of Act 1. It appears as though she is summoning multiple TDs, and it is most likely how a TD outbreak starts, given the sheer number of TDs shown. But brothers and sisters, do not show fear, for he has come, the General of the Midnight Rangers, our General in Wuthering Waves. Jian is here. He is calm and decisive, but also shows an unyielding resolve to protect his people. He can manifest a Qinlong or Teal Dragon, which is truly fit to be the emblem of the Midnight Rangers. Once he finishes dispatching the TDs, we get back to our senses and later on tell Yang Yang that, according to Baija, the leaf has frequencies from a specific location, to which Yang Yang replies that that is Xixi village in the Central Plains. So, to the village we go, or rather, to the village we will go, as this is the end of Chapter 1 Huanglong, Act II Echoing Marche. In the next video, I will summarize Act 3 Ominous Star, and while you're eagerly waiting for my next video, why not leave a comment on what you thought of the story? Until next time, here is another video of mine I hope you will enjoy, and underneath it is the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, I am Happy Owl and I'll see you in the next video.